What's up, Zoomies? Welcome back to episode 3. We've got a whole lot of cool stuff to talk about today, so I'm very excited to see those lights start going up on that board. It's lights out.
And away we go!
I gotta add my sound effect. It was so funny on the last one. I have to do it. I have to do it every time now. So what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show where Rachel and I talk about HVAC news real fast so we can talk about cars that go real fast. Can't believe we're already 3 episodes into this show. It's been a whole bunch of fun. I can't wait to see where it continues to go. Thank you, everyone that is listening. Obviously, we had some great listenership to episode 1. We carried some more into episode 2, so hopefully that keeps flowing into this one as we get ready to break down the Chinese Grand Prix and preview the Japanese Grand Prix, because it's the whole Asian roundup right now. So, in true paying homage to our founding show, or I should say what's the right word? What was the word they used to use for your people that were, I guess, your patron show? Isn't that what it was? Like back in the day, if you were in some medieval level of stuff.
Show?
Is it patron? What is it? What's the right word?
Oh, pilot. It's our pilot show. I don't know.
Our pilot show was episode 1. I guess I guess it would be our parent show is HVAC R&D, because that's where our idea for all this started on the host show. So in true HVAC R&D fashion, it's time to crack a beer on a show. It's been a bit.
Ooh, did you get that?
We did. I'll make sure to add some great reverb.
Ooh.
So, cheers, Zoomie partner.
Cheers to you. And another great race.
Another great race. Got another one coming up this week. We'll dive into some news real quick. First, going back to Cooling Post for this one, and I saw an article that is AC is a key driver in high electricity demand in France, is where this one is actually based out of. You know, it's interesting, in the United States, the high driver for electricity demand is everyone pushing for electric vehicles, but it's interesting to see air conditioning and heat pumps and home conditioning being a cause of electrical grid stress somewhere else, because traditionally in parts of Europe, a lot of the homes are older and never had central air conditioning. They might have had a form of heating, but they didn't have air conditioning. So I thought this was a bit of an interesting little read, but it's saying, the global energy demand has basically doubled in 2024 because of everything pushing to heat pumps and electrification.
Yes. Now, I have a customer who needs to replace a bunch of their units, and I'm on the industrial side of things, but they are maxed out electrically, and so now it's a race for them to get their electrical grid upgraded, and then hopefully the units last long enough, because they're production, so hopefully the units will last long enough to see a replacement. And they were, they're custom designed units. And they were made for weather that we had 25 years ago, because they're 24, 26 years old. And so their demand has changed significantly. So now they need far more cooling capacity to do the same work. And they just don't have it. They just don't have the electrical for it. So yeah, this is going to be a huge problem going forward.
So, according to the International Energy Agency's latest global energy review, global electricity consumption in buildings increased by 5%, or over 600,000. I don't know what this abbreviation is. TWH. Usually I would think kilowatt hours, but that might be a little bit different.
Terawatt hours?
Maybe that would make sense, because it's bigger, and that accounts for nearly 60% of total growth in electricity consumption. Is the push to more global cooling, which is crazy.
Yeah, Yeah.
So another one that we're running into is R454B shortages. Now the shortages are not on the refrigerant itself, but it's the cylinders that are causing super long lead times for the new refrigerant.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, but I'm slightly confused on it because, R32 is also using a specific type of cylinder, but they're not seeming to have issues there. But the demand for 454 is obviously much bigger than 32 because there's more manufacturers that have designed around using 454. But then again, that still makes it a head scratcher because R32 is a key portion of 454. But then again, it's not the refrigerant that's the shortage, it's the cylinder.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that either. Yeah.
Yep. Which I saw the price of it, over the last couple of months when we were ordering refrigerant, which we always stocked a heavy load of refrigerant where I was anyway. But every time we were ordering 454B with it just to build up a stockpile. And now it looks like a very good decision.
Oh, absolutely. Most of my customers are still on 22. A lot of them. So we're looking at doing some retrofits for them, and yeah, this is and any replacements coming in, they're going 454. So we need to get our stuff together.
Well, and there's being that it's the brand new A2L refrigerant we're going to, which A2L is not brand new, 454 is not brand new, but it's the new standard.
And new to us, really.
Yeah, it's new to all of us in the field in some way, shape, or form. Just because it existed doesn't mean we always knew about it. Which, if you load up a set of field piece or NAVAC gauges or anybody's, there's hundreds of refrigerants in there.
Oh, yeah.
I think one of the questions that came up from that is people were thinking, well, as long as you've got 410A in stock, then you'll at least be able to keep things running, or you'll be able to, delay the adoption of A2L. But the problem is, the manufacturers, once they run out of stuff that was 410 that was built in 2024, they can't build any more of it. Now they can build stuff for component changes, which to me is still a very gray area, because technically if you're using a component change, you can only do, one component change a day. I'm like, okay, well, I can only get the air handler changed today. I'll get the outdoor unit changed tomorrow. I feel like that could be skirted around. I'm sure there's got to be something that inspectors are going to do to keep that from happening, but still, it just seems like one you could sneakily get away with 410 for a little bit if you had to, if you could get the equipment, that is.
Yeah, and that's what it's going to come down to, is really what's available, because it's going to come, the customer's needs are going to depict how this all plays out.
Correct. And then lastly, the other news article I was looking at was about recruiting women into the trades. So I thought this was interesting because it's 5 things contracting business owners can do right now to recruit women into HVAC. And this is another ACHR news article, just as the one before it was. Me asking you this question: what do you think is the biggest obstacle preventing more women from entering our industry? And what are some things you think companies can directly do to address it before I go through these 5 tips out of the article?
It's a whole demographic that I think most employers just totally...
When it comes to ductwork, durability and performance matter. That's why HVAC pros turn to JPL FHP 25. With its tri-laminate airtight core and reinforced vapor barrier, this high-pressure duct keeps air moving even in tough conditions. Operating smoothly from -20 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, it's as tough as the jobs you face. It's UL Class 1 listed, Green Guard certified, and formaldehyde-free. This isn't just ductwork, it's peace of mind. Built to meet industry standards and exceed expectations. Because if your ductwork can't take the heat, get it out of the system. JPL FHP 25, flexible, durable, and built for the long haul. Trust your installs to the name that's been delivering quality since 1961, JPL. And now, back to the show.
Okay, I'm back.
Yay!
That was a long one. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I got worried. I was like, did she spill her beer on the keyboard?
I'm God. Okay, what were we Oh, right, women. Okay.
Biggest obstacle preventing more women from entering the industry.
So I don't think it's about entering the industry as it is about retention. I find there's been like in my industry around in Ontario here, there is quite a few women that are getting through and pursuing a career in HVAC more than there's ever been. Like I've been around for like 25 years in the trades, and I've seen a lot of women come and go, and it's more so about retention. Eventually, we just get sick of the. I think it's just we get sick of the old boys club, right? So I think it's just a matter of time. The numbers are there, and there's a lot of more women. I think you'll start to see a lot more women just kind of just stick it out, right? But most of the women I've come up with or that I know have gotten out of the trade, and I'm always so curious, like, what is life after this trade? But they find different ways, and a lot of them are helping other apprentices get through and have moved into administrative positions or whatever. But like as far as being on the tools, you're gonna have to find concessions. But a lot more customers are open to the idea of women. But I'm shocked at the customers that I have and that, you know, really gravitate towards me because I mean, I walk in, I'm not your typical mechanic, but that's what makes me different. That's what helps me in my job is that I'm not like every other mechanic.
Very true. So they have 5 recommended actions, and I'm curious of these 5, which one you think makes
Hmm.
the most impact. So I'll read through them real quick. So number 1 is market better. Number 2 is consider the female side. Number 3 is mentorship opportunities. Number 4 is partnership and community outreach. And number 5 is put women in charge of men.
Yes. No. Um,
I will say to the put women in charge of men thing, I have no problem working for a woman.
yep.
At least that I'm getting ready to go to work, I will be answering directly to one. I have no problem with that. A place that I was working before, I potentially would have been answering to one if I switched to a different job, and she and
Hmm.
I had a great relationship. I'd have had no problem with it. There may be some stigma around that. I don't see that stigma, but I've seen it,
No.
but I don't think there should be one. Honestly,
Yeah.
women are a hell of a lot more organized than men are most of the time anyway. So, I don't really see the issue in that at all.
I think I think if you did a bit of all five of these things, it would help immensely. You know, you do have to be conscious that women are different. There's no other way around it. Women are just different from men. So so considering the female side, I think is very important. Um, the last company I was at before I went out on my own, I mean, they didn't treat me any differently than they treated any of the guys. And I was very thankful that they were so good to me. And because of that, I was able to be successful. And I felt very comfortable about where I was working. So I think the industry is changing, and it's just a matter of finding the right people and taking the right steps. Marketing for sure. I think you're seeing a lot more of a woman's presence in the market. So that's going to help. Um, like I said, I've never seen so many women in this trade. It's awesome. I think it's great.
Well, and I like seeing that it's not only just in the technical side. We are seeing women come into HVAC across the board, whether it's with contractor, distributor, manufacturer, all of the above. So I think
Yep.
that's also made it that much better for the industry as a whole anyway.
Hmm. And I think mentorship is going to help a lot. There's a lot more women out there that are mentoring. I myself am a mentor as well. So I work with like a couple organizations to help try and promote women and more diversity into the trades. So I think you're going to find a lot more opportunities are available. And yeah, there's so many different facets of this trade that you don't it is geared to more towards women in some aspects of it, right? So I think you'll see a lot more of it. I'm excited for it. I think it's great. If I could clone myself and hire myself, I would.
I think a lot of people say that one, not just the women. I'll say that.
No, for
Um,
sure. For sure.
well, and see, look at us. We're 3 episodes into the show, and we're breaking through glass ceilings, and we are helping facilitate change of the industry. We are breaking down barriers on this show. I love it.
Yeah. And you just did your part too because you had Laura on HVAC R&D.
I did, and I've
Amazing.
I've had a lot of great ladies on the show, and I hope to have
Yep.
many, many more. I think it was interesting, listening to her journey, just talking about mentorship opportunities. Obviously, she was grateful that she was able to be at a place where she had people that would mentor her and not judge her. And I
Hmm.
think where she's moving to her next job is a lot of that looks like it's based around, mentorship opportunity as well, so that she can try to get her plumbing license and continue to grow as a tradesperson. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
excited.
she's incredible.
No, she's great. Well, like I said, now that we have broken through some glass ceilings, I think it's time to dig into some Chinese sprint race and Grand Prix analysis.
That's awesome.
So, our sprint race bold predictions, picking up where we left off last, when we recorded the last show, sprint qualifying had happened, and then it was time for the race. So, bold predictions of the sprint race, I said Carlos in the top 8, unexpected tire degradation, and Lewis gets frustrated with his engineer. And then you said Oscar beats Max. There's a Merc in the top 3, and Yuki gets points. So we'll read through the results real quick of the Chinese sprint race. Coming in first, Lewis Hamilton. First win in red. He won a race before Charles. We'll get there later. Oscar in second, Max in third, George in fourth, Charles in fifth, Yuki in sixth, getting some points, Kimi Antonelli in seventh, and then Lando in eighth, which Lando had a rough race.
Hmm.
He kind of bottled the old start just a teeny bit, which now he didn't have, he had a really poor sprint qualifying too, though, in some ways. He ended up, sixth on the grid and then
Hmm.
dropped two in the race. So it just was not a good day at the office for Lando, but Oscar made sure to get some points for McLaren Mercedes. And then, once you get past that, we only get points for the top 8 in the sprint race. So let's see. Carlos did not make it, so denied for me.
Tough break.
Tire deg, honestly, that tire deg is what killed Max's race.
Yes.
So the mediums did not hold up. So I feel like I get a point for that one
Yes,
because
yes,
it
yes,
was way
yes.
worse than expected.
Yes. I will allow that.
I'll allow it. Lewis frustrated with his engineer. Honestly, we didn't really hear a whole lot of talking, so I definitely don't get a point for that one. He was cruising up front and did just
Yeah,
fine.
he also won. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So Oscar beat Max. Good on you. There was not a Merc in the top 3. George could not catch
No.
Max. He was trying, but again, he was run out of tires too. Everybody really was. Those
Yeah.
mediums were not the right tire. And we found that out even more later on. But they were not the right tire. But Yuki got some points, coming
Yes.
in sixth. So
Hey.
so far, Rachel is still whooping me for the year.
Yeah.
Um, so a couple of quick questions on our sprint race. What do you think was the most surprising to see come true?
Hamilton, honestly. Yeah, I knew he could do big things with the Ferrari, but to see to see glimpses of old Hamilton was nice.
You could definitely see there was a level of relief off of his shoulders to get
Hmm.
even a sprint win, because it's been a little bit since he won a race.
Yeah.
Granted, he did win. He won 2 last year. I thought. I know he won Silverstone, and then he won
Hmm.
somewhere else. I swear I thought he did. I can't remember where. I know they weren't very happy with the car in Australia. I don't really think they were super happy with the car for this, but he pulled one out on this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to see him on top again.
the main takeaway from the sprint was that the medium was not probably going to be the main race tire. Now, a bunch of people still started on the dang things later in the race, but it didn't seem like it was going to be that great of a tire, or it was going to definitely be, if they made it 19 laps in the sprint race with a full fuel car, it probably wasn't going to make it past 12 to 14. So I think the pit windows on the main race were going to be around that time because it just couldn't hold it.
Yeah.
Turn up the heat in your kitchen, Trade Crew, using Cajun Joe's Bayou Spice, the original blend that brings the bold, authentic flavors of the Bayou straight to your table. Perfect for grilling, sauteing, low country boiling, or seasoning any dish, Cajun Joe's adds the perfect kick of heat and spice. Whether it's seafood, chicken, gator, beef, pork, veggies, or more, you'll love how this blend transforms your meals. Ready to take your cooking to the next level? Grab your jar today in the HVAC R&D swag shop. Just visit hvacrnd.com and spice up your life with Cajun Joe's Bayou Spice. And now, back to the show. Moving on to the GP, bold predictions. I said it would be a strategy-driven race. Every race is a strategy-driven race, but I feel like this one was because they didn't know what the tires were going to do.
Yeah.
And I will say, talking about that, if you look at what, we've dogged him a good bit the last two shows, but old Lance Stroll starting on the hard tire and running for like 30-something laps was not a bad decision because it got him in the points. So, especially since Fernando has had a rough start to the year, he had a DNF for a wreck that I'm still not sure really how it happened in Australia. Yeah, and then his brake failure on lap 3 or 4, so he had to retire. So strategy driven race. I think I deserve a point for that one. No team lockouts. I flunked on that one because Oscar and Lando pulled it out.
Yes, they did. I'm so happy about that. Even though McLaren's not my team, but I still really just like them. I like the two of them.
Antonelli top 5. He was close. He was so close thanks to the Ferrari disqualifications, which I didn't see that one coming.
Either did I.
I still don't know how Charles kept that car in 6th, losing half of his wing, in the first part of the first lap.
Gosh, I almost forgot about that.
And they got super lucky that it hit the inside rim of the tire and didn't give Lewis a puncture.
Oh my gosh. That was brutal. Of course, the two Ferraris.
So, Rachel's bold prediction, Ferrari strategy failure. Check. I feel like you get 2 points for that because they both got disqualified. I think I might give you 2 for that and just for the hell of it.
Gosh. I know. Like, what? What? How? How? By 1 kilogram. Both of them.
I know. Hadjar in the top 10. He was 11th. Post DQ, so he was almost there. He was right ahead.
And he fought to the very end.
Yep,
he has. I feel like he has a better game, like a better headspace than you can see Lando when he gets defeated. He just falls apart, and he's one of the best racers in the fleet. But Hadjar just kept pushing, kept going. No matter what. And I understand he probably wanted to, make up for the mishap from Australia, but man, I'm excited to see what he can do.
And number 3, Liam's frustration keeping him down. And we'll get into that saga. Yeah, you definitely get a point for that one. We'll post disqualification, he finished 12th. He had at times I think he had a little bit of positive things in the race, but he's just not been comfortable in that car, which he's not the first person we've seen not be comfortable in that car.
No. Yeah. With all the stuff that's happening around that, it really does bring to light the car, and I think we talked about this in the last episode, where the car is geared towards Max. And if you don't drive like Max, it's not going to work. They've been through a number of drivers.
Performance upgrade from Australia was Haas, the old American team, and getting some points. Ocon coming in 5th, Ollie Behrman coming in 8th, so 14 points for Haas on the board after
Yep.
a very disappointing Australia, so that was pretty impressive. That car looked good in a straight line, so I'm curious to see. I'm curious. I don't think Suzuka will be a good circuit for that car because it's very, very technical, but we'll see.
No.
I'm not sure. And I guess we could do a quick, rookie roundup, which, impressive again. So Kimi Antonelli was the top finishing rookie, finishing 6th. Ollie Behrman in 8th. Isaac Hadjar in 11th. Jack Doohan in 13th. Bortoletto 14th. The rookies were in the midfield, doing decent. Now we had what? 1 DNF and 3 disqualifications, so that kind of jacked everything up.
Yeah.
Poor Yuki had a very disappointing race since his wing decided to blow itself apart there at the end.
Yes, that was awesome.
Yeah, he was doing fairly well until that happened.
Yeah.
He did not have the kind of front wing damage luck that Charles had. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Also, Bierman did extremely well.
Oh yeah, he fought really well.
I
There
got
were
to
some
give
very
it up.
good overtakes.
The Haas car has been really good, and I'm like a little bit shocked, but because I'm not a huge Ocon fan, but I'm pretty Bierman. I like Bierman as a driver, so I'm psyched that they were able to get some good points.
Yeah, they got points thanks to some disqualifications, but Ollie was still going to finish in the points regardless of this disqualification. It did see, now Albon had a great race. He finished 7th. I really think he could have finished. He probably deserved to have finished higher. He had a pretty good race. Carlos, he reeled it in. He got a point from the disqualifications. I think he's still a few races away from really being at one with that car.
Yeah.
Alex is proving that it's got a decent package. It's just, it takes some time to learn the new wheels.
And that was a good race. That's a good track for them.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Right? So it plays to their strengths. So that was a good show.
So let's see. Let's look overall standings as of right now before we get into Japan. So top of the points table is Lando with 44. Max with 36, George Russell with 35, Oscar with 34, Kimi Antonelli with 22, Alexander Albon with 16, Ocon with 10, Lance Stroll with 10, Lewis with 9, Charles with 8. Those disqualifications really whacked Ferrari.
Hurt them, yeah.
Nico is 6, Ollie with 4, Yuki with 3, and Carlos Sainz with 1. And then Isaac Hadjar, Pierre Gasly, Liam Lawson, Jack Doohan, Gabriel Bortoletto, all with none. And then poor old Fernando has not finished a race yet, so he's not even classified yet. And then
poor
teams.
handsome guy.
I know, right? Our poor Spaniards.
I know.
So, and then current team standings: McLaren 78, Mercedes 57, Red Bull 36, Williams 17, Ferrari 17, Haas 14, Aston Martin 10, all Lance Stroll. Sauber with 6, Racing Bulls with 3, and Alpine still a goose egg.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm so thrilled with Haas.
Yep, it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna make that whole midfield battle interesting.
Yep.
Now, currently, I don't think Williams could finish 4th. I do truly think they could finish 5th once Carlos gets his everything lined up and ready to go. Unless Ferrari continues to bottle their strategy, you never know.
Gosh,
but
I wish I wasn't right on that.
I think 6th and down is going to be a absolute battle. Really, 6th, 7th, and 8th. I think Haas, Aston Martin, and Racing Bulls are going to have a fight for it. I don't think Sauber is going to score as many points. I think right now some of the things that have happened have seen them place even higher than they'll probably finish, because I think most everything they've got going on is focused on making sure when they become Audi next year they've got a better car.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess let's talk Japanese Grand Prix. The big major news that we've somehow managed to not talk about yet. We've done a good job. is Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson. Liam is being dropped. Yuki is being promoted, which I'm happy for Yuki. At the same time, I'm worried that this could hurt him at the same time because, as we've seen, this is a tough car. Mm-hmm. I do think that Liam getting dropped this fast proves that Red Bull made a mistake getting rid of Daniel last year. Because
you're still
I really think they should have put Daniel in the car. Sorry, I just do.
I agree. And now seeing the way that this is all unfolded, I agree. Yeah, like they needed somebody who knows that car and can drive it well. Even if it's just for a year,
Even if it's just for a year, because he dealt with that being a tricky car even when he was there before. I do think he should have got a chance.
Yeah.
But I'm not Christian Horner or Helmut Marko, so I don't get to.
Well, with all the fresh blood that's in the pool in the races now, I just think they had to try something new because the recipe at Red Bull wasn't working, right? So as we saw last year.
Well, and Max is hanging on. Yeah, Max is hanging on with driver's points since he finished well in the sprint race. He got passed very late by George in the GP, but those extra points in the sprint race really helped him, so he's only a few points behind Lando. But the team battle, McLaren is already more than double Red Bull's points. If they don't do something and hope that it makes an impact, the team championship is over for them well before it even started.
I think McLaren's going to run away with the constructors. They're going to run away with it for sure. Hopefully, Red Bull can pull it together because they are, after all, it is a good car and they are entertaining to watch. And it's nice having someone that strong in contention.
So yeah, obviously I think I agree with you. I think McLaren's going to run away with it, pending something crazy happening. Because like we've said the last two shows, I don't think we're going to see a ton of major upgrades for anybody this year. I think a lot of the money is going to be focused on being prepared for the 2026 car with new regulation.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think this will be a really good track for Max.
Yep.
And it's a tough overtaking track. Qualifying and everything else is going to be, it's always important, but it's definitely going to be extremely important for this one to see everything come together. Who do you think is going to have the best setup?
I think, honestly, I think this is going to be a good track for Williams, hopefully. But honestly, I think McLaren's going to run away with this one, for sure.
I think they will. I think it'll be a decent track for Mercedes, too. Yeah. I think Max will still find a way to be top four. I guess I'm a little early for that, but I think Max will find a way to be top four. But I think McLaren's going to lead the way, and then Mercs and the Ferraris are going to be fighting for whatever else is in the top 5, top 6.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, you can't rule them out.
No, you can't. Who do you think needs the biggest result out of this race?
Besides Yuki?
I was going to say, I think as a team and as a person, Yuki and Red Bull, obviously, but I also think Ferrari's got to hit back in this one or they're going to be in trouble too.
I think Williams. I think Williams. I think we're going to see big things from them this season, which I didn't think in the beginning. But I've changed my tune a little bit, and I think we're going to see more coming out of the Williams. I would love to see Racing Bulls because I'd like to see Liam be vindicated a little bit because I feel like it was a little unfair. It's 2 races in. I get it, but I know what they need, but they're just jumping. I feel like they're jumping the gun.
I think if they were going to be at a level where they could pull the trigger this fast, then they should have just promoted Yuki to begin with and let Liam stay at Racing Bulls, because the whole point, when it was AlphaTauri or anything else before, or Toro Rosso, the whole point was that it was quote unquote second team.
Yep.
But it was the development team. It's where the guys that are learning their racecraft to get into the top team.
Yeah.
So promoting Liam around Yuki was kind of a smack in the face. And I feel like this is like, oh, we're sorry. You should have had it before, go ahead and come on up here. Like, I would love Yuki to blow it away.
Yeah.
But
Also, like it's pretty apparent that Liam and Yuki must have been neck and neck with the decision of who to take the seat at Red Bull.
yep.
So, because if they're pulling the trigger this fast, they must have been very close. So, this might just be them trying it out, right? Maybe this is a better fit. So, hopefully, because I really like Yuki.
Well, and, I would say, which driver do you think has the most pressure to perform in this race? But I feel
100%.
like it's gonna be Yuki.
Yeah.
He's got the weight of he literally has the weight of the Red Bull
Yeah.
world on his shoulders right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I really wish him the best of luck. I would love to see him knock on a solid top 8. I think is possible. We know that car is good enough to get top 8 if it's got someone that figures out how to drive it.
100%.
So we'll see.
Yep, I agree.
It's not much different than last year's car from what everything has been said, just listening to the reports. Obviously, we ain't the ones driving it. But, Yuki had a great test in the 24 car. So I think there's a chance he does better than expected. So I guess let's get to our bold predictions for the race. We'll do a quick recap of our overall bold predictions for the season. So my first one was that Lewis wins in red first. Check.
I don't know if we can count that, but I'll let you have that one. That's fine.
Oh, come on. The sprint race is a race. There's points awarded. Got to allow it.
Okay, fine.
I would allow it. I would have allowed it for you if it was yours.
That's nice. And unfortunately, my season's predictions are terrible right now. So
hey, you know what? Yuki podium might be even better right now. You don't know. So Williams gets a podium at some point during the season. I truly think that will happen.
Mm-hmm.
It may take a mess of a race, but I think that will truly happen.
Yep.
And then my third one was Piastri asserts his dominance. Now, I feel like he put his first foot forward on that one, so I'm curious to see how the next few races go, and we'll really see how much he's put his foot down.
You are spot on, I think, with your predictions. Yeah, yours are spot on.
Piastri's not going to let up.
Nope.
Like, if Lando wants to win this championship, he's going to have to win this championship. It is not going to be handed to him.
Mm-mm.
Rachel's bold season predictions for the whole season. Lando continues bad starts, which he had a decent start in China.
He did. I'm actually that's what I was saying. It's like, oh, there goes my prediction. No, he's done well.
But there's 22 races left, so he can still jack that up.
Yeah, yes, he can.
Well, and and I watched Jolyon Palmer's analysis of the race earlier today, just trying to get some things kind of refreshed in my mind since it's been a little bit since it. And he was going through the start. He was even complimenting, Lando had great car placement, off the line, but also going through the first turn so that he had good clean air. So he had a good start. Mercedes struggles.
No.
I don't know.
I don't think so. Yuki's the only one who can save my predictions.
I mean, Lando can still save it.
Oh, I hope not.
He's not out of the woods yet.
I do really like him.
I know. But a Yuki podium, how freaking great would it be to see a Yuki podium at Suzuka?
I would.
Now you want to talk vindication of deserving a seat.
Yeah.
If Yuki got a podium this coming weekend, heck yeah.
I would be over the moon, honestly. That would be huge.
So I know we talked about it. We still have not decided what the points totals for full season predictions would be awarded as. So that if we were a few more listeners into the show, I would say let's put up a poll and let the Zoomies decide. But we're not quite there yet. But we can still try it. Yeah. But I'm thinking 5. I think 5 points is fair. It's not gonna absolutely blow one of each other away with it. Like if they were 10 points apiece or 20 points apiece, if one of us nailed one of these, it might just be over and not be fun anymore. But I do think they deserve to be more than 1 point.
Yes, and yeah, because when it comes down to it, seeing them week to week, the race prediction the week before, I think is a far better tell.
So, looking forward to Japan.
Oh, so much.
So, bold predictions in Japan. I was going to say, as we start to figure out what our predictions are for this race,
Hmm.
who do you think is really the biggest underdog in Suzuka this round?
I think honestly, I think Alex Albon is gonna start to shine because he already is. But like I said, with the Williams car being what it is now, I think we'll see. I think we'll see him getting more attention and hopefully getting more points.
I hate to say it, I think Liam is now the biggest underdog because he just got
Hmm.
booted. I think if he were to get a top 10 in a racing bull, he would kind of vindicate himself as much as if Yuki gets a top 10
Yeah.
in a Red Bull seat. So, bold prediction for the coming weekend. I think Oscar takes it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do.
this is a tougher course than China, so I think this is going to be it's going to come down to a little more experience, so I would like to see Lando.
Ooh, the McLaren battle.
Yeah. Watch you, he just take the whole thing and then we're both out of points.
Who knows? I think Yuki will pull off a top 10.
Oh, that was going to be mine. Uh,
Well, do you want it? I'll do
no,
a
you
different one.
go
If you want
ahead. You
to
take it. You take that.
take that.
Uh,
Well, it's because I made you go first last week, so I cheated and went first this week.
yeah. Yeah. It's fine. I think we'll see. I think we'll see Mercedes in some big points. So I think we'll see them. Like I would like to say like 3, 4.
Ooh, so
Yeah,
double top 5?
I think so.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
I still think Max will pull off a top 3 because that car is good in technical spots.
Hmm.
And his sector 2 in Japan, or excuse me, his sector 2 in China was super strong.
Ooh, that's a good one. I think I'd like to see. Uh, I think I'd like to see Hajar take some points.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Hajar top 10.
Yeah, I think so. I'm rooting for the kid.
I was gonna say I think jointly we both want to see a solid Williams performance as well.
Yeah.
We're gonna both put that as a joint one, and if we get it, we both will get points.
Yeah. Carlos is just a good driver, and like Alex Albon, what is this, his third season with Williams?
I think is it his third? I swear, I think it's his third. I think
Yeah,
you're correct.
and
I don't know.
like he knows that car, and he's driving it well, and it is a good car. So I think he can do it. I think they can both do it. Carlos just has to get his shit together. He has to figure it out.
And I think he will.
Yeah.
Actually, one other fun little news thing that I saw this past week is that seeing people try to get Lewis and Charles's dogs to be friends since they're on the same team. So
That's so cute.
there was an interview with Charles that was on I think it was on the Cool Down Room, the F1 show, and someone was asking if their dogs had made friends yet, and he's like, they're still feeling each other out. But I thought it was funny.
They're two very different dogs, so I can't imagine.
So this is Alex's 4th year at Williams.
Oh, okay. So
I couldn't remember.
he's been there a while. He knows the car. He's grown with the car. Like the car's come a
Well, and I
long
was going to
way
say
too.
he's been extremely important to the development of the car. So
Yeah, I think we can expect big things from them. I really hope so.
well, there you have it, everybody. Bold predictions for Suzuka. We're excited for the race, and we're excited to get back on here when it's over and talk about what's coming next, because afterwards we go back to the Middle East. So we go to Bahrain and Saudi Arabia later in April. So
Beautiful.
we go from the battles across Asia to battles in the desert.
I love it.
Well, everybody, thanks for listening. Rachel, thank you as always for being my co-host in this venture.
Thank you. This is fun.
So everybody, we will talk to you after lights go out and we get another result.